Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I have a very important question to ask you guys. Do you prefer a very small roster of about, 20 characters, arcade style type of game, or do you prefer a game like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero with over, close to 200 characters? Uh, which do you prefer? Today we're going to be tackling that question to decide which works best for anime fans, gaming fans, and just everyone in general. So let's get straight into it. If you guys didn't see today, we got a trailer for Sparking Zero. It was called the Rivals trailer, and it was basically Goku and Vegeta facing off in all their different forms. It was just spectacular seeing that. A lot of reveals for the game, a lot of different things going on. I'm very excited for it personally. But at the end of the trailer, something we did get to see is kind of like these hexagon type squares, and there were like a bunch of them on this like big giant like loading screen type thing. Character select screen, I would say. And some of the characters were filled out, and there were a lot of spaces open. It was a little confusing the way the characters were placed, but it is kind of explained after the trailer. It did get explained in on Twitter. Basically, the characters were you know how in Budokai Tenkaichi the old games, how it was Goku mid, Goku early, Goku end, and now Goku super. So that just explains that real quick. But the thing I'm most excited about is that this game is going to have 160 4 or 5 characters. I'm pretty sure. I think it's probably 65, but that's that's insane. That's the base roster. And you know what? I know there's a lot of reasons why this game is going to beat most of the other anime games. I just want to talk about the question of small roster versus humongous roster. So, the other day I did post a video about Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash, and my biggest debate was the roster. I'm gonna just point out here I was wrong. I originally said there was 13, 14 characters, but there is 16 characters. You know, that's still not a lot, but it's pretty decent since it's covering season one. I have more things to say about it in another video, but this is just a starting, like, this is the beginning of the Jujutsu Kaisen gaming universe, and there's only 16 characters. It's gonna have a bunch of DLC. That's kind of how anime games have been, because base game rosters will just be, look at Demon Slayer. We got 20, we no, not 20. We got 12 characters. 16 basically, because we got a bunch of other forms of the characters, and that doesn't really count. Looking at Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, we got Goku mid, all those same Gokus, but they all play differently. That's the thing. Like in Demon Slayer, they were the same character with a different costume. They made costumes of skin. Um, the same thing in Storm 4. I mean, not even Storm 4. Storm 4 had a perfect roster, in my opinion. Storm Connections, though, they filled out a lot of characters by just using a character slot for the same character with just another costume on. And it was really just a waste. That's like not a new character. That's just the same character with a different ultimate and the same, you know, move set. It's just a different costume, and you can easily just, you know, pick a different costume and pick a different ultimate. That was available in Storm 4. But I just want to know, what do you guys think about different roster sizes? So me personally, I know this is probably, this is the fourth edition of the Budokai Tenkaichi installment. Like, this is going to be the fourth game after many years. So, of course, it's going to have a humongous roster, being a sequel to a sequel and now being another sequel. So, it's going to have a big, humongous roster rather than Jujutsu Kaisen. But my biggest worry right now is that when you have a smaller roster of characters, you know, it only goes to the competitive scene. You know what I mean? And I know that's how most anime games kind of are. I know the story mode gets really short, but there's not a lot of characters to play as, meaning less content to cover. So, like Sparking Zero, you're going to have a bunch of characters. The same with Connections. I'm not going to, say too much. The only problem with Connections is that they took all of those same characters and kind of just made the same game, just adding a different story mode and, 10 more characters to the game. That was kind of dumb, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, Sparking Zero is a whole new thing. It's new animation, you know, new everything, So it's going to get more popular and it's already breaking the internet as we speak. So it's obviously going to do better than Storm Connections did. But Storm Connections and Dragon Ball Sparking Zero are still big contenders rather than Demon Slayer and, you know, other games like that. Arena fighters with a small roster don't really hit as much, and this is why I'm worried about the new Hunter x Hunter game that's coming out, because I know that it's either going to have a humongous roster, 40, 30 characters, and they could come up with there's about 30 or 40 fighters in Hunter x Hunter. Let's not even, debate about that. But it just depends on what they're going to make. That's why I love CC2, because CC2, even if a character didn't do too much in the anime, they still created a move set for it. That's why I was kind of mad with Jujutsu Kaisen, because people's big excuse. I was saying, why didn't they add all those Kyoto high school students? Why didn't they add, like, they only added Toto, that was it, and they could have easily created something and added more playable characters to the game. And people were saying, oh, they didn't do too much in the manga, this and that. It's like, but CC2 would have created better, like, created a move set that was usable. Like, they added Murata. Murata did one sword slash in the whole anime of Demon Slayer, and they created a whole character out of just that, into Demon Slayer. And, look at Demon Slayer now. It tried to live off of DLC and the hype of it, and, it was good for a little bit, but that game's completely dead now. But Sparking Zero is going to go on for years and years and years, and if it already has a humongous roster, adding DLC to that already humongous roster is going to keep things interesting. It's going to keep changing and developing. If you had a small little roster and you had one character every 2 months, it's going to just get boring and no one's going to care, because all the game's going to be about right now is just, competitive, 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 and then the game dies out. You need to put more updates into the game and keep the game interesting. I feel like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, everybody's seeing the hype for it. The developers are seeing how much money they're going to make off this game. So I do expect a lot of stuff being brought into this game after releases. There's going to be a ton of DLC. Dragon Ball Daima is going to come out. They're going to put stuff from that into the game. It's just going to be an amazing Dragon Ball arena fighter that we really haven't had in a long while. Fighter Z was kind of unique. It was more arcade style, still a beautiful game, but Dragon Ball is like, if you're going to make a Dragon Ball game, have it be an arena fighter. Kakarot's perfect. Xenoverse, it's really good. It's just based off DLC. And, it's its own little thing. But Budokai Tenkaichi, all those games, Raging Blast 2 is my favorite anime game of all time. The animation is beautiful, like Sparking Zero, and the roster isn't small either. They created characters too. They added Super Saiyan 3, Broly and Vegeta, and then they added Tarbell and Haichiak. Characters we never even seen fight before in the actual anime. So they added a lot. Like Sparking Zero, bro, they're gonna add so much. They're gonna make so much money, and it's gonna be interesting. Like everybody loves these characters. They gotta just add more than they should. You know what I mean? Like Demon Slayer, they did the best they could. I know the seasons were coming out late. If they do want to redeem themselves, they're probably gonna make a new sequel game to it, Hinokami Chronicles 2, covering, the new arcs. And yeah, I mean, that's fine. That would be cool, fixing all the mistakes from the first game. And that's part of the reason why I did say Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash is going to fail, because it's just, stepping your feet in the water, trying to, test out how things are going to work, how they're going to go, unique playing style. The reason why Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is going to do, has that much content to add is because the anime has been over for years, Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Super ended for years. I mean, I know the manga's still going strong, and then Daima's coming out, but there's so many characters and interesting things they can add, and like Storm 4, adding in characters that don't really fight, with Kushina, Iruka, Hanabi when she was little. Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi did that with so many characters. They had Emperor Pilaf, they had Nam, which Nam did fight, but they just created so many characters that barely did anything and just made them great. All the movie characters, everything. Looking at it now, the original screen in the trailer, I am a little bit worried, just because it's gonna probably be filled with transformations. Like if you look at Cell's by himself, but then you gotta think imperfect Cell, semi-perfect Cell, full power Cell, and then you got all the androids and all that stuff. Frieza's gonna be up there with all of his normal forms, Golden Frieza. Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of transformations. And, there's probably going to be no more Gokus, no more Vegetas. That's about it. Unless they add Kid Goku, which I'm not opposed to them doing. Goku Black, all those characters. It's just hype, man. I'm really, this is going to be a really fun game with the roster. So I just want to, get your thoughts on what you think. Do you rather a game coming out like Sparking Zero with over, almost 200 characters, and they're probably going to hit that as time goes on, surpassing the old games? Or do you prefer a game like, Jujutsu Kaisen, got 16 characters, releasing DLC as time goes on? Yeah, so just let me know what you guys think about that. As always, it's been SJ Benj. Peace.